static or compile time allocation and what is dynamic and runtime allocation. Okay, now we'll see that one by one. So once come to the static or compile time allocation, where the memory for named variables is allocated by the compiler. Exact the size and storage must be known at the compile time for an array declaration and the size has to be constant. So what is the meaning of this statement? So when you're taking the int a, how much memory will be allocated?
4 bytes.
Yeah, and the allocation, the bytes memory allocation is depending on the compiler again. If it is a 16-bit or 32-bit, 2 bytes will be allocated. But if you are taking the 64-bit compiler, it's going to allocate the 4 bytes. Okay, so let us come to the normal allocation. So when you are taking integer, 2 bytes will be allocated. Okay, if you are taking the 16 and 32-bit compiler, so 2 bytes will be allocated. Now suppose if I am taking the int a of 5, then in that case, how much memory will be allocated? What is 5 here?
Five.
Yeah, so suppose now once come to the uh, execution part, I'll show you the, yeah, now once see here, suppose if I'm taking the int a, so how much memory will be allocated for this one? 2 bytes will be allocated. Okay, now suppose if I'm taking the int a of 5, so what type of declaration it is? What type of declaration? Is it a normal variable or anything else? Yes, anybody? Yes, array. SI, S Prem Sai and Babu Rao. Yes, it is an array. So int a of 5 means 5 bytes. I mean, I'm going to take the 5 elements in the array. And how much memory will be allocated for this one? So for integer, it will take the 2 bytes. And you're taking the array size as 5 and totally 10 bytes will be allocated for the integer, I mean array here. So that is int a of 5. So when you're declaring this variable or array variable, and the memory will be allocated at compile time. So when you're going to compile the program, the memory will be allocated for the int a as well as the int a of 5. Okay, and the size of memory is fixed now. So once you declare the variable or array, the size of the variable or array will be fixed. You cannot change or modify the size of your memory allocations. Okay, so that is a static. You cannot change the value of the memory locations. You cannot increase or you cannot decrease the, or you cannot modify the memory locations. So that is called as a static or compile time memory allocation. Then what is the second type of allocation here? That is a dynamic or the runtime allocation. Now, in this runtime allocation, the memory is going to allocate at the runtime, not at compile time. So, after compiling, now we are going to run the program. So, at runtime, the memory will be allocated for any variable or object, or if it is an array. Okay. Now, what is the use of this compile time and the runtime? So, what is the compile time? The allocation of memory is fixed. You cannot modify the size of your memory. But come to the runtime, as much as we need, you can use the memory locations here. So suppose if you want a 10 bytes, you can use a 10 bytes, or if you want 100 bytes, you can use a 100 bytes memory location. Okay, but we have compile time is there and runtime is there. So what is the disadvantage of compile time and why we have to go for the runtime memory allocation or the dynamic memory allocation? Okay, now before going to that, now see the what is static memory allocation. Before going to the dynamic memory allocation, first see the what is the static memory allocation. So in static memory allocation, the memory is allocated by the compiler. So just now I have said that. So as per declaration of variables. Now suppose we are not able to extend or decrease the memory at runtime. So it causes the problem of memory wastage or shortage. Now you can see the one example here. So I'm taking the example int a of 3 and I'm taking the values for the array 10 and 20. Now, can anyone tell me how much memory will be allocated for this int a of 5? Can anyone tell me?
In day 3, the ma'am, it is
Yes, ma. Int a of 3. How much memory will be
uh,
allocated?
6 bytes.
6 bytes.
Yeah, 6 bytes will be allocated. Okay. Now suppose see here. So 6 bytes will be allocated. So for A, and I'm taking the 10 and 20. Then what about the last byte here? So last element, I'm not inserting any last element, that is the third element. Just I have inserted only two elements, 10 and 20. But I am declaring the size as a 3, but I am taking the elements as only 2. So in that case, what is the one more element space? So it is a wastage of memory. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. Now, how to overcome this problem? So before going to that, suppose I am taking the one more example here. Int a of 2 and the elements are 10, 20, 30. Okay. Now can anyone tell me how much memory will be allocated for this?
4
4
bytes.
bytes.
Yeah, 4 bytes will be allocated for this a of 2. Now, but how many elements I have taken here?
2 elements.
3.
3.
Yeah. So only 4 bytes will be allocated for a of 2, but I have taken the 3 elements memory. I mean 3 elements here. So in this 10 and 20 will be inserted. Then what about the third element? Can we insert the third element here? Is it possible?
No.
No, ma'am.
No. Why? Because the memory is not allocated for the third element. So here you cannot increase or extend the memory in your location. So this is the one more problem. So what is the first problem? You have a memory, but you are not using that one. So in that case, it is a wastage of memory. And what is the second one? You are taking the number of elements, but you are not allocating the memory for the particular elements. So in that case, I want to insert the one more element, but memory is not sufficient to insert that element. So that is the second case. So these are the disadvantages of your static memory allocation. Okay, so once you declare this one, automatically memory will be allocated at compile time. Only the memory will be allocated. You cannot increase or you cannot decrease or you cannot extend or you cannot decrease the memory locations. Now to overcome this problem, we are going to the dynamic memory allocation. Okay, so before going to that, now you can see the what are the number of locations we have in, I mean memory locations in a operating system. Now we have a four types of memory locations here. So that is the code or text when you're taking the programming part. Okay, when you're taking the programming part, so how many memory locations are used by the program? Now we have a four types of memory locations. So first one code or text, and second one static or global, and third one it is the stack, and the fourth one is the heap. Okay, so normally if you are taking any program, if you want to compile or run the program, so these four memory locations are used by the program. Okay, now what is code or text? Suppose in a program you have a CO statements, okay, or scene statements are there, and those statements are or called as instructions. So those statements is stored in the code or text location. And come to the static and global. So what is static and global here? So we can use the static and global variable throughout the program, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, yeah. So throughout the program you can use the static or global variables. Okay, so if you are using any static variable or global variable, and the memory will be allocated for those members in a static or global area. Okay, now come to the third one here, stack. And here we have a function calls or local variables. Suppose if you are calling the add of int a comma b, so when you're calling that function, it is going to the function definition. Okay, so in a function definition, if you're taking any variables, okay, or the function, total function is stored in the stack memory location. If any function calls or local variables in the functions, and in the memory will be allocated in the stack area. Is this clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, yes. Now, what is the next here? So, what is the code or text? We are going to take the statement here, C out A statements like that. Okay. And what is the static or global variables like this? Static int A equal to 10. So, this statement, for this statement, memory will be allocated in the static area or the global area. Okay, then suppose if you are taking the before main, I'm declaring int a, and for this a, memory is allocated in the static or the global area. Now, if you are taking the function calls, suppose add int a comma b, and the function body consists of some int z. Okay, so for these a, b, z variables, the memory will be allocated in the stack area. Why? Because it is a function. If you are taking the function, and that memory will be allocated in the stack area. Okay, now come to the heap. So what is the heap? It is a memory location, and this memory location is used by the dynamic memory allocation only, not the static compile time or static or the compile time memory allocation. So up to code, static or global or static, and these three memory locations are used by the static or compile time memory location. But when you are using the dynamic memory allocation, now we are going to use the heap memory locations. If you are taking any dynamic allocations, the memory will be allocated in the heap area. Okay, not in the stack or so we can use the stack or static code heap, but when you are using the dynamic memory allocation, the memory allocation will be done at the heap memory location. Okay, so these are the types of memory allocations we are using in the program. Is this clear, everyone?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, good. Thank you. Now come to the dynamic memory allocation. So what is the disadvantage of static memory allocation? You cannot extend the memory or you cannot decrease the memory. Suppose if you are taking the array of 2, I want to insert the third element, you cannot insert the third element. Suppose if you are taking the array of 2, but you are using only one element memory space and the remaining memory is wasted. So these are the disadvantage of a static memory allocation or compile time memory allocation. Now once come to the dynamic memory allocation. So what is dynamic memory allocation? We are going to allocate the memory at one time. So already all are aware of that. How can we use the dynamic memory allocation in C programming? So we have a malloc, calloc, realloc functions are there, isn't it? Yes or no? Did you remember this one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So malloc, calloc, realloc functions are used to allocate the memory at runtime. Okay. And the header file for this malloc, calloc, realloc, we have a separate header file. It is not in the stdio.h header file. So for these functions, we have a separate header file that is a alloc.h. Okay. Now this alloc.h consists of malloc, calloc, realloc, and one more we have a free function is also there. So what is a free function? What is free function?
Void
No,
function.
no, free function. In a dynamic memory allocation, we have a malloc, realloc, calloc, and we have one more function, free function is there. So what is the free function?
No, ma'am. Stop.
Yes, what? What is the free function?
Maybe
It is
cannot.
going to
Maybe
it is
cannot.
going to delete the memory that is allocated by the variables. So what is malloc, calloc, realloc? It is going to allocate the memory for the variables or members. And what is the free function? Whatever the memory allocated by the variable by using the malloc, calloc, realloc, and that will be deleted by the free function. And these all functions are included in the alloc.h header file. So we have a separate header file for that, alloc.h header file. Okay. Now these functions return data type is void pointer. So what is the syntax of your dynamic memory allocation in a C programming? Now you can see here. So when you are going to take the dynamic memory allocation, we need to take the pointers. Why? Because we don't know where the memory is allocated. Okay, so to know the memory location, we are using the pointers. What is the use of pointer? We can store the address of the another variable, isn't it? So when you are taking the dynamic memory allocation, we are using the pointer variables, and memory allocation address will be stored into the pointer variables. So that is the case here. Now suppose if you are taking the statement p equal to, what is p here? It is a pointer variable equal to int star malloc. I'm using the malloc function. So in a bracket, we need to mention the how much memory allocated for the integer, that is the size of integer. So size of is an operator, and how much memory is going to allocate by the integer, so that is going to display by the size of operator here. Okay, now I'm using the malloc function size of int, so totally 2 bytes will be allocated for the integer. Okay, now here int star, what is the meaning of int star actually? So when you're taking the
Pointer.
yeah, pointers. So when you're taking the p here, if I'm not writing the int star here, what is the meaning here? P equal to simply malloc size of int. So actually we need to store the address into the p variable. But if you're not going to take the int star here, by default it will take the void pointer. What is the meaning of void? It doesn't return anything, isn't it? So if doesn't, yeah, if
Yes,
doesn't
ma'am.
return anything, then how can we store the address of a variable into the p pointer variable? It is not possible. So we need to typecast it. So actually, the return type of malloc function is void, but it doesn't return anything. Then how? What is the usage of that void pointer? So we need to convert that into the integer pointer. So this is called as a typecasting. Okay, so this is done when you're taking the C language, isn't it? Now once come to the C++, how the memory is allocated in the C++. So we have a separate operators, okay, like malloc, cloc, realoc. We have a functions in the C language, but we are not using malloc, cloc, realoc functions in the C++ program. So you can use that one, but the C++ having the extra features. So what are that here? We are using the new and delete operators. If you want to allocate the memory at runtime, we need to use the new. Okay, it is like a malloc, cloc, realoc. And what is delete here? It is like a free function. If you want to delete the memory that is allocated by the new operator, we need to use the delete. So new is like a malloc, cloc, realoc functions, and delete like a free function. Okay, and what is the one more difference between malloc, cloc, realoc and the new delete here? Malloc, cloc, realoc are the functions. Those are not operators. Those are functions. Why? Because the name followed by the parentheses, so those are called as a functions. But come to the C++, we are using the operators. These new and delete are called as operators, not the functions. So new and delete are the operators. These are not called as a functions. Okay, so that is the difference when you're taking the C++ and C language for the dynamic memory allocation. Okay, and for this new and delete operators, we don't have any separate header file. So, and these are included in the iostream header file only. But come to the C language, if you are using the malloc, cloc, realoc functions, you need to include the header file log.h. But come to the C++, when you are using the dynamic memory allocation and when you are using the new and delete operators, and these new and delete operators are included in the iostream header file defaultly. Okay, so we don't have any separate header file for the new and delete here. Okay, now so the new operator does not require any explicit typecasting. So when you're taking the C language, we need to take the typecasting int star malloc size of. So before malloc, you need to take the int star pointer. But we don't have any type conversions in the C++. By default, it will take the conversions. Implicit conversion is there. Okay, in C language, we need to type the explicit typecasting is there. But come to the C++, we have the implicit typecasting. We do not have right to the int star. Okay, simply it will take the integer only. Okay, now there is no need of any header file in C++. Simply those are included in the iostream header file. Okay, now what is the syntax to allocate the memory at runtime in the dynamic memory allocation of C++? Okay, now we'll see that one. Now you can see, so this is the syntax. Pointer variable equal to, we need to take the pointer variable definitely. Why we need to take the pointer variable here? We are allocating the memory at runtime. So where you are going to store the variables or values, we need to know that. So to know that address, we are using the pointer variables, and we are going to store that address into the pointer variables. So what is the syntax here? Pointer variable equal to new, it is the operator, space data type. So for which data type you need to allocate the memory, whether it is integer or float or character or double, any data type, and in parentheses you need to mention the value or variable name, value or variable name. Okay, now once come to this one more syntax for array. How to allocate the memory at runtime for array? So same pointer variable equal to new operator and data type square brackets. When you're taking the array, we need to take the square brackets. In square brackets, you need to mention the size of your array. Okay, so these are the two different syntaxes. Here we are using the parentheses. In parentheses we need to mention the value or variable name, but come to the array we need to take the square brackets. In square brackets you need to mention the size of your array. Let us take one example for these two syntaxes. Now I'm taking int start p equal to, we need to take the pointer variable, so int start p equal to new data type, I mean new keyword and operator, and what is my data type here, integer, and what is the value here, 5. So I need to take the 5 value, and what is the type of 5 here, integer. So for that I need to allocate the memory at runtime. So how much memory will be allocated for this one, for int 5?
10.
10 bytes.
No, only 2 bytes. It is not a square, it is a parenthesis, it is only value.
How, ma'am?
Okay,
Once explain.
once again, okay, int star p equal to new space int in brackets, it is parentheses, not the square brackets. So in parentheses we are taking the 5, so I am going to take the 5 value here. Okay, so what is the type of 5 here, integer. So for that I am taking the type here, data type as an integer. So how much memory will be allocated for
Ma'am, if we
integer?
take into bracket 1 means
2
instead of
bytes.
5.
Instead of 5 into 1, you are taking 1.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, how much memory will be allocated? Only 2 bytes will be allocated. You
Okay,
can
ma'am.
take any value. You can take any value, integer value here. So how much memory will be allocated? It is only 2 bytes will be allocated. Okay, now you can see here. 2 bytes will be allocated. Now once come to this one. Int star p equal to, now come to the array. Int star p equal to new int. I am taking the square brackets. So once observe the syntax carefully here. So I am taking the same data type and same value here. But here I'm taking the parentheses, in parentheses I'm taking the 5, here I'm taking the in square brackets I'm taking the 5 here. So when you're taking the these two syntaxes, what is the difference? So for this syntax only 2 bytes will be allocated. Why? Because here 5 is a value, it is not array. And what is the data type of 5, integer, so 2 bytes will be allocated. But come to this syntax, what is the 5 here, array size, means I need to take the 5 elements here, 5 elements. So how much memory will be allocated for this one? So 5 is the data type is here integer. So what is the data type, int of 5 here. So what is the how much memory will be allocated for integer, 2 bytes. And what is the size of array here, 5, that is 2 into 5. Totally how much memory will be allocated?
10, ma'am.
Yeah, 10 bytes will be allocated. Now you can see here. So I can take the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. And what are the index positions here? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you're taking the array, we need to take the index positions. Now you can observe carefully how many bytes will be allocated. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So totally 10 bytes will be allocated. So 2 bytes takes the 1 value, and we are taking the 2 bytes takes the 1 index position, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think already aware of that how the memory will be allocated for an array, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is the case when you are taking the int start p equal to new int of 5. Here it is a parenthesis. When you are using the parenthesis, it is only value. Now, when you are taking the square brackets, it is a value, but what type of value here? It is the size of array value. Means how much elements you need to insert into the array. So that is the size here. In square brackets, you need to mention this one. Is this clear, ma?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes,
I,
madam.
just now one boy asked that once again explain me, madam. So for that, is this clear? The boy? I think.
Ma'am,
Is this
there,
clear, ma?
ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Good, ma. Now,
Not clear, ma'am.
what?
Ma'am, how much memory it will take, ma'am, for int of 5? This in bracket here.
First one?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, only 2 bytes. What is the type here? Data type here? Integer now.
If I put int of 1 means
Only 2 bytes only. You can
If
take any value in parentheses. Parentheses,
if we take n value means it will take only 2 bytes. Huh?
yes, 2 bytes.
Now clear, ma'am.
But come to this array, when you're taking the n here,
Double. It will be double.
yeah, it will be double. That is 2
Yes,
into
okay,
how
ma'am.
much n? That is 2 into n. So that is 2 into n memory locations will be allocated. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, good. Now, so this is only syntax, okay? But how to write the program using the dynamic memory allocation, then how the memory is allocated when
Ma'am,
you're, yes, ma,
ma'am,
yes,
data type before value should be same before pointer variable.
what? Once again, data type.
Data type before value should be same data type present pointer variable.
Yes. Or else you can take the int only, no problem. Why? Because what is the start here? It is a pointer. It is going to store the address of the right hand side value. So suppose if you are taking the 5 here, 2 bytes will be allocated. And for this 2 bytes, what is the starting location of that one? That address is going to store into the pointer variable. You can take the float or any double or integer for the pointer variable, no problem.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Now we'll see with one program how to write the C++ program, that is a dynamic memory allocation. Okay. Now once go to the compiler. Here I'm going to type the program. Listen carefully. It is only simple. How can we take the pointer variable in a C++ when you're taking the dynamic memory allocation? So I'm taking the IO stream. Okay. Now here I'm taking the normal program, not the class program. For an easy understanding purpose, I'm taking the main function here. In main function, suppose I want to allocate the memory at runtime. So if you want to allocate the memory at runtime, we need to use the pointer variables. So I'm taking the pointer variable p here. Okay. Now what is the syntax to allocate the memory at runtime? Pointer variable equal to,
Ma'am,
yes,
ma'am,
yes.
ma'am, without using namespace std, you can't do program, madam. C++.
So that is depending on the compiler. If you are taking the Turbo C++, no need to use the using namespace std. Simply you can take the iostream.h header file. But come to the present compilers, you need to include the using namespace std.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Now I'm taking the int star p. I want to allocate the memory at runtime for 5 value. Suppose p equal to new, and data type of my value is integer. I'm taking the value as 5. So just now we discussed this example. Okay, so this is the case. Now I want to print the value also. Now you can take that p out, that is star p. So to know the value of that value of the 5 here, using the star p. Okay, now let's compile this one. So before that I need to take the return 0. Okay. Now you can see here. So what value will be printed here? It is a 5. Okay. So this is the way you are using the dynamic memory allocation. Suppose I'm taking the one more. So I'm taking the suppose float. Float. I'm taking the one more pointer for the float. That is a q. Let us take the q. Okay. Now for q, I need to take the one more value. Why? Because it is float now. So that is q equal to pointer variable equal to new. Now I want to take the float variable. I mean float value. So float in bracket. Suppose I'm taking the 5.5. Okay. Now I want to print that value also. Cout, that is star q. Now suppose if I want to take the character also. That is char R. Suppose it is R. Okay. Now I need to allocate the memory at runtime for the character using the pointer variable R. R equal to new. And what is my data type now? Here it is character. Char. I want to take the value character in single quotes. When you are taking the character, you need to take the single quotes. Suppose it is some G. My character is here G. Okay. Now here. Now I want to print that value also. So to print that value, I need to take the cout statement here. So here I am taking the cout is cout star R. Okay. Now just for understanding purpose, I am taking the slash n here. Slash n p is. That's it. Okay. And here also I am taking the slash n q is. That's it. Okay, here slash n r is. That's it. Okay, now let's try to run this program. So what you will get the output here. So star p value is 5, star q value is 5.5, and star r value is g. So I need to get that output. Now you can see here what is the output you are getting. Now see here, p value is 5, q is 5.5, and r is, and the character it is, and it is a alphabet is G. Is this clear, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Clear, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yeah, tell me.
What happens when we see out లో స్టార్ పి ఉంది కదా మేడం, దాన్ని పి చేస్తే ఏమవుతుంది మేడం?
So when you are taking the p, it will print the address of the variable, not the value of the variable. Now you can see here. I'll try to run the program. You can see the values of PQR. Now you can see that. So P and Q, you can see this one. PQ are addresses. It is going to print the addresses, not the values. Is this clear?
ఎస్ మ్యామ్. ఇంకా మ్యామ్
Yeah.
మ్యామ్
Yeah.
ఒక ఇంటీజర్ పాయింటర్ వెళ్ళి ఒక ఫ్లోట్ వాల్యూని అడ్రస్ చేయగలదాం అంటే స్టోర్ చేయదా మేడం?
Okay, let's try that one. Okay, suppose just I'll remove all this. Okay, we'll try that one. No problem. We need to check all the cases now. Now I'm taking this one. Now, so you are asking that. So suppose p equal to new. I'm taking the float here. Isn't it? This is your doubt?
యా మ్యామ్.
Yeah. Now I'm taking the 4.5 here. Okay. Now let's print that value. So I'm removing this. Okay. I need to get the value here. That is star p. Okay. Now let's try to run this program. So what you will get now? Observe this one. So you cannot convert float to int in assignment. So just now I said that we have a typecasting in C language, isn't it? So instead of here we need to take the, suppose we are taking the malloc function, p equal to, we need to take the int star. Okay, then we have to take the malloc and size of operator. Then we need to mention the value here. Suppose it is a 5, or you can take some integer or fly, or you can take any value variable here. Okay, so if you are not using this int star, so what is the malloc function return type by default? It is a void. So what is the meaning of void? It doesn't return any value. So you are using the malloc. What is the use of malloc function? So we need to allocate the memory for the a here, and we need to store the address of a into the p variable. So means the malloc function should return the what is the address of a variable. But when you are taking the void here, it doesn't return the address of the variable. Why? Because what is the return type of malloc function by default? Void. But I want to know the address of that particular a variable. So normally the addresses will take the integer type. Okay, so we are taking the int star. So why we need to use the star here? Why? Because we are going to store the address. So when you are going to take the address, we need to take the pointer, and the addresses normally takes the integer types here. It will convert the addresses into integer type, and that will be stored into the p variable. So this is the typecasting. Okay, But this type of typecasting is not there in the C++. If you are taking the integer pointer, you need to take the integer value. If you are taking the float pointer, you need to take the float variable. Or if you are taking the character pointer, you need to take the character variable. In that case, it will convert the implicit typecasting. It will take the implicit typecasting. Why? Because you are taking the pointer variable as integer and you are giving the value as integers. So there is no typecasting. Simply it converts the integer into the integer pointer variable. But when you are using the pointer as a float, you need to take the value as a float. When you are taking the pointer as a character, you need to take the value as a character. So implicit typecasting is done when you are taking the both pointer as well as the value. Data type is same. Is this clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, okay, this is the program. But when you're taking this program, how the memory is allocated. Now you can see here. So this is the way the memory is allocated. Now, suppose I'm taking the p new int of 10. Okay. Now, how the memory is allocated for this one? Now, you are going to take the stack and heap memory locations. Okay, so in a stack what value is stored and in a heap what value is stored. Now we'll see that one. Now you can see here for 10 value, so what is in bracket? I have a value here 10. For this 10 value, the memory is allocated in the heap area. Is this clear? The memory will be allocated in the heap area. Why? Because I am allocating the memory for the 10 at runtime. So the memory is allocated in the heap area. So how much memory will be allocated? It is what is the type of 10 here? Integer. So how much memory is allocated? 2 bytes will be allocated. So in 2 bytes, 10 value will be stored. So what are the 2 bytes here? 100 and 101. And this 100 address starting location of this particular 10 value is going to store into the p variable, and where the memory is allocated for the p variable in a stack. Okay, now what is the value of p? The address of 10 value. What is the address of 10 value starting? So address of 10 is a 2. We have a 100 and 101, but it will take the starting location address and that is going to store into the p variable. Now you can see here it is going to store into the p variable, pointer variable. So when you are going to take the address into the p variable, it is pointing to the 10th memory location. So this is the way memory is allocated when you are taking the dynamic memory allocation. Now suppose if I am taking the floater, that is q equal to new into float of 10.5. Now, so I'm taking the float here. So how much memory will be allocated for the float? 4 bytes. That is 200, 201, 202, 203. So totally 4 bytes will be allocated. And what is the value here? 10.5. Yeah, here I'm taking only 1.5. So please uh, clarify that one. So it is 10.5 or 1.5, whatever. The value will be stored into the memory location. Now for this q pointer, where the memory is allocated? Anyone?
In Q, ma'am.
In a where the memory is allocated for the q variable, pointer variable?
In
In a,
star.
yeah, in a stack for q variable memory is allocated. And what is the value q consists of? The starting address of the 1.5 or 10.5 floating variable. What is the starting address? 200. So that is going to stored into the q variable. And when you are taking the address into the q, it is pointing to the address location of the float variable. Now suppose I am taking a character, that is r equal to new character, and I am taking the x character, x alphabet here. Now how much memory will be allocated for character?
4 bytes.
One byte.
Only 1 byte, ma. For character is only 1 byte. So for this x, 1 byte will be allocated in the heap area. Now you can see here. So x value is stored into the heap area and it is take only 1 byte. And what is the address here? 300. And where the memory is allocated for the r variable, r pointer variable?
In
In a
star.
stack. So in a stack for r variable memory is allocated. And what is the value of r here? You are taking the x. So that address will be stored into the r pointer variable. So 300 is going to store into the r pointer variable. So when it is taking the r address here, it is pointing to the x memory location. Is this clear? So this is the way. So when you are taking the dynamic memory allocation, it will take the both stack and heap area. So not only stack and heap, it will take some stat. If you are taking any static variable or global variable, it will use that particular segmentation also. If you are taking any CO statement like the statement, it is take the code segment also. Okay. So is this clear, ma everyone?
Clear,
Yeah.
ma'am.
For pointer variables, memory is allocated in the stack area, and for the dynamic values, it is going to store into the heap area. So this is the way memory is allocated when you are taking the dynamic memory concept here. Okay. Now, suppose uh, I'm taking the array. So how the memory is allocated for array, or how to write the program when you are taking the, it is only normal program. Simply we are taking the int star p equal to new int of 4.5, like that we are taking the program. Now how the memory is allocated for the array? So we have one more syntax for array here. So how the memory is allocated for the array? Now let's see the what is the program for the array. Okay, how to write the program using the array. Now I'm taking the programming part here. Normal program, not the class programs here. So here I'm taking the int main. Int main, I'm taking the size. I want to take the array size. So I'm taking the variable name as a size. So here, just I'm taking the statement. Enter the size of array. Enter the size of array. Enter the size of array. Okay, I need to read that value using the cin object size. I'm just reading the value size here. Okay, now for this size, I don't know how much value you are going to take, whether the size is 4 or 5, 10. So that is going to give the input to the program at the, when you are compiling the program or run the program. Okay, I don't know what is the size value here, but I want to allocate the memory for this size. Is this clear? I don't know what is the value of size here, whether it is 5, 10 or 100. But for that size, I need to allocate the memory at runtime. So I need to use a pointer variable. And here I'm taking the array as an integer variables. So I need to take the pointer as also a integer pointer. So p equal to new data type, and so what is the data type of my array here? Integer, and in square bracket we need to mention the size. So I'm taking the size variable here. Is this clear? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now I need to read the values in the array. I need to read the values in the array. So how to read the values in the array? We need to use the for loop. Okay. So just use the for loop. I'm taking the indexer. Okay. To represent the index, I'm taking the I. So I equal to 0. Okay. I less than. So how many values I need to read up to size minus 1? So that is less than size. If you are taking the index as a 0, so it is less than size. Suppose if you are taking index as 1, so I less than or equal to size, we need to take the condition. Now what is the next one? Incrementation part, I plus plus. Okay. Now I need to read the values. So we need to use the scene object. So P of I. So this is the way to read the values into the array using for loop. Okay. Now I need to print that value also. I need to print the value also. So here I'm taking the statement cout. The array elements are so whatever you're entered into the array, I need to print that values. So again, if you want to read the values or if you want to print the values, we need to use the for loop when you're taking the array. Now again, I'm taking the int I equal to 0, I less than size, then I need to increment the index position I plus plus. Then I need to print the value. So to print the value using the cout object. Okay, that is p of I. P of I. P of I. Okay. Now we can see here. So this is a way to read the values. So this is a for loop, and second for loop is used to print the values. Okay, now let's try to run this program. And before that, suppose when you are using the dynamic memory allocation, we need to use the delete operator also. So here I'm taking the syntax delete. So when you are using the pointer variable, we need to use the p. So what memory I need to delete after execution of this program? P. Why? Because I'm using the p pointer variable to allocate the memory at runtime. So I need to delete that also. Or you can use the syntax like this also, delete. Okay, we are using the arrays, so take the square bracket, and what is the pointer variable? P. So either this or this one, you can use this. Okay, now try to run this program. Now, so enter the size of array. Suppose I'm taking the 3 here. Okay, now enter those 3 values. Okay, suppose it is 3, 6, 9. Yes, I have entered the 3 elements 3, 6, 9. Okay, now I want to print these values using the for loop, one more for loop. Now you can see here the array elements are 3, 6, 9. So like this we can take the dynamic memory allocation using the new and delete operator. So what is the use of this delete? After allocating the memory, you are using this program. Okay, you are going to modify some statements here. So after completion of this program, you need to free that memory also. Why? Because you are using the heap memory location. So always we need to make the free after completion of your program, after allocation of your program. Is this clear, everyone? But how the memory is allocated for the one? This is the array. How the memory is allocated for the array using dynamic memory allocation. Now you can see this one. So we need to take the stack and heap. Okay. So for size variable, it is going to allocate the memory at a stack location. Okay. So when you are taking the dynamic memory allocation, the memory is allocated in the heap. Okay. So what is the size here? I'm taking 3. Array size is 3. And first this size 3, the memory is allocated in the heap area. How much memory will be allocated, Mark? How much memory will be allocated?
6 bytes.
Yeah, that is size is 3 and the type is integer. 2 into 3, totally 6 bytes will be allocated. Now see here, 6 bytes will be allocated here. So that is 201, 202, 203, 204, 205, 206. Totally 6 bytes will be allocated, and index positions here 0, 1, 2 are the index positions. And for P also the memory is allocated in the stack area. Okay. Now suppose, so when you are taking the P here, the address of the array. So what is the starting address here? 201. So that is going to store into the pointer variable P. And when you are taking this one, it is pointing to the starting location of your array. So this is the way memory is allocated when you are taking the array. Is this clear, everyone?
Clear, ma'am.
Yes. I need a response from some others also. Only Mundaz is responding to mine.
Clear, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, good. So this is the way the memory is allocated for the array. Dynamic memory allocation for array. Okay. So with this, the first unit is completed. Okay. So in next session, or I mean, either it is Friday or Saturday. I think you may have some classwork in Saturday. So either Friday or Saturday, I'm going to conduct the quiz on first unit. Okay, and I'm going to consider these marks in your assignments also. I'm going to add these marks to your assignments. Totally, I'm going to average the marks. Okay, so still now just I have given the, I think, 8 assignments. Okay, and 1 quiz. Okay, now tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I'm going to conduct 1 more quiz. So I'm going to combine all these assignment marks, and I'm taking the average of these marks, and that will be added to your assignment marks in your mid marks. So be careful. It is not simply enter into the quiz and simply you are putting the options. Be careful. You have a marks for each and everything, whether it is assignment or quiz, whatever I will assign to you. So it is based on marks only. Okay, so tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I'm going to conduct the quiz from first unit, total first unit. Okay, so read that one. So thorough with the each and every topic. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
yeah. Now I'm going to take the attendance. Wait.
Ma'am, have you took attendance?
It's not took.
Yes. First A section. Uh, Roll number one.
Ma'am, download the attendance, ma'am.
No. I need a response from you, not the online
Ma'am, first
attendance.
take C section attendance, ma'am.
Why?
We are having a project presentation, ma'am.
Yeah, I think you have it. It's okay.
Ma'am.
Yeah, okay. C
But no one
section.
is responding, ma'am.
Yeah, B8 absent. B9.
Ma'am,
Mm.
starting from B8, ma'am.
Yes, B8. I'm asking B8
Ah,
only.
okay.
B8 is absent. B9 not responding. Absent. C0 absent. C1 absent. C2 absent. C3 absent.
Present, ma'am.
C3 present. Okay. C4
Present, ma'am.
C4 absent. C5
Present, ma'am. C5.
yeah okay. C6 absent. C7
Present,
absent.
ma'am.
C7 present. Okay. C8
Present, ma'am. C7.
yeah okay ma. C8 absent. C9
Present, ma'am.
okay. D0 absent. D1 absent. D2
Present, ma'am.
absent. D2 present.
Present,
D2
ma'am. D2, ma'am.
yeah okay ma. D3
Present, ma'am.
D4 D4
Present, ma'am.
D yeah okay. D5
Present, ma'am.
D6
Present, ma'am.
yeah. D7
Present, ma'am.
okay. D8 D8 absent. D9
Present, ma'am. D8 present, ma'am.
not G8 D8
D8 present, ma'am.
yeah okay. D9
Ma'am, G9 present.
it's not G9,
listen
it's D9,
carefully
ma'am.
ma please.
Ma'am.
D9
Hello, ma'am.
D9 absent. Yes ma.
Ma'am, B8 is present, ma'am. This mic is not working.
Wait a minute. You wait a minute please. D9 absent. E0
Present, ma'am.
okay.
E0.
E1
Present, ma'am.
okay. E2
It
Mention
is
in the
messaged in the chat box, ma'am.
why
His mic is having problem, ma'am.
uh,
He is using his laptop.
okay. E3 absent. E4 absent. E5 E5 you think
Present, ma'am.
Shivani
E5.
yeah. E6
Yes, ma'am. Present.
E6 who is E6 E6 are you there E6 no somebody is giving the response to E6
I'm E7 present.
E6 absent E7 okay E8 E8 is absent. E9.
Present, ma'am. E9.